Like diet culture, these people thrive off of that. They want you to feel like you're less than. They
Mm-hmm.
want you to be insecure because they profit off of you buying their products, buying their detox teas, buying these appetite suppressants so that you can shrink your body in the name of health. But really, when we are actually trying to shrink our body, it's usually a form of a combination of two things. We don't feel good enough within
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So we feel we have to do something outside of ourselves. So that means shrinking our body, looking a certain way. And it's because internally we're trying to feel lovable when we didn't intrinsically learn that from our parents.
Yeah.
And then two, having this is such an unpopular opinion, but having an eating disorder or shrinking your body in the name of health, making sure that we're eating a certain way, all of that is a means for control. We're trying to control. We're trying to control. Yes, we're trying to control. And it's actually distraction from our deeper feelings that we're trying to protect ourselves from.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become their favorite versions of themselves and to strive for overall health by healing their relationship to food and exercise, healing their relationship to their body, and most importantly, healing their relationship to themselves, all without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who have been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time someone shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. But I'm here and I put eyebrows on today
Hey, okay.
and I brushed my hair and I showered.
Look at you go.
I know, winning.
Yes, literally, yes.
Awesome. So can you tell myself and the listeners a little bit about who you are and why you think you are who you are?
Ooh, okay, great question. Okay, fabulous. So I am an anxious attachment specialist and trauma-informed somatic coach. Ultimately, what that means is I help women and I help people heal their anxious attachment style so they can become a match for healthy, secure love. No more emotionally unavailable people. We're not dating emotionally unavailable people anymore. We are only available for healthy, secure people who are ready to open up their hearts back to us. And so that's really what I do. And I do that through somatic coaching, somatic healing, where we're getting to the root of, where did this anxious attachment style come from, right? We have all these labels. I'm anxiously attached. I'm avoidant attached. Okay, but like, what are we doing about it? It's like, why are we this way? And let's unlearn it so that way we can relearn healthy ways of relating, healthy ways of communication, and actually rewiring our nervous system for healthy love.
Mm, I love that. And I love that you said so many of us, you didn't say these words, but so many of us are like, I am this way. And then
Correct.
you added, okay, but what are you doing about it if you don't
Yeah.
like it? You
Yes.
know, consider, assuming that you don't like it because of the tone that you're saying, I'm this way,
Mhm.
what are you doing about it? So I love that.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Because people say, oh, I'm acting this way because I'm anxiously attached. Okay, but that's the root of why. If we just slap a label on yourself, I'm an anxious person, I'm this, I'm that, that can help understand why you might be acting that way. But what's the root cause of that reason of why you're acting that way in the first place? Let's get
Yeah.
there. And so for me, who I am, why I do what I do, ultimately in a nutshell, I don't think I've explained it in this way, but I've been reminded that I need to share like more of my full story of why I actually do what I do. So I like a little bit of backstory around myself. I used to have chronic, crippling, debilitating anxiety. And I was always overthinking, always ruminating to the point where I started to develop health issues like chronic joint pain. I was 21 years old feeling like I was living in a 90-year-old's body. And so that was number one. I had adrenal fatigue. I had deep cystic acne. So everything
Mm.
was impacted. My physical world was deeply impacted by my internal world, meaning the anxiety was driving a lot of these health issues because our body cannot rest and digest. It cannot recover when we are chronically in a fight or flight state. So if we want to dive deeper into that, my parents were in a trauma bonded marriage. And so for me, I was relating to partners in toxic relationships, myself settling for emotionally unavailable people because that was my relationship blueprint. Our nervous system hates the unfamiliar. So it'll go towards a familiar hell rather than an unfamiliar heaven. And so this is really why I do what I do so that other people don't have to make the same mistakes I have. And we can go even
Mhm.
deeper into what I've done to become much more securely attached. I completely have zero pain. My anxiety is the anxiety I experience is much more manageable, much reduced. I don't have adrenal fatigue. I don't have this joint pain anymore. I don't have cystic acne, as you can see from my face. So everything is completely shifted. And so when I work with people, it's like they tell me they're chronically anxious. They're worried about people when they're not texting them back right away. It's like, well, where is that stemming from? What is that making you believe about yourself?
Mm.
So it's a
Just
little bit about who I am, what I do, how I guess I guess that's not really who I am. I think I'm also just a very passionate, bold, curious person who loves to get to the deeper reasons of why we are the way we are
Mhm.
instead of just going into symptom management or surface level ideologies. I'm just someone who is so enamored by humans and how we connect with people. And I'm just like a very loud spirit. I'm here to make bold moves in the world.
I love it.
Thank
I love it.
you.
You said something and then I had a thought and then it left. Uh, because I had a baby once and I have COVID. But oh, I remember. Can you, for the listener's sake, can you explain what a trauma bonded marriage means?
Yes. So why don't I explain a little bit of what really is the difference between a trauma bond and healthy love. So a trauma bonded marriage or trauma bonded relationship, here's what a trauma bond is. The relationship goes through high highs, low lows. Important conversations are avoided. The relationship feels like an addiction that you're powerless to leave. You
Mm.
feel just it's horrible. It's a horrible situation to be in. Maybe there's verbal, emotional, physical abuse. You know that this isn't right, but you avoid it. If people bring it up about your marriage or your relationship, you avoid it completely. You switch conversations quickly. So that's really what trauma bond is. And because the relationships go through such extreme highs and extreme lows, what happens is your body begins to become addicted, physiologically addicted to the stress and cortisol, these hormones, this hormonal cocktail that your body is now addicted to because this is now your new baseline. So true love, with the difference with true love, the relationship is stable. It's based on mutual respect. There's no high highs and low lows. It's relatively stable. Important conversations are a priority. Your needs are a priority. Your needs are stated and they are respected. The relationship feels like an honor, a privilege, a choice. It feels like, even if my partner does leave me, I will still be okay. And that's
Mm.
ultimately what a secure attachment looks like. If we want to talk about secure attachment styles, that's how my clients describe when their fear of abandonment is processed or quote unquote healed is even if
Mm.
my partner does leave me, I will be okay. So that's really what a trauma bonded relationship or marriage would look like and the difference with that and versus healthy, true love.
That's the best explanation I've ever heard. So
Thank you.
thank you for that.
Love that.
Um, so what I do is I help people take a look at their health in all aspects. So not just like, what are you eating and how are you moving? It's more like relationship to food, relationship to exercise. Are you pampering yourself to relieve stress? Are you decluttering your environment? All of the above. And one of the big ones is relationships. So how would you say that these different kinds of relationships that you're talking about could affect your health, either negatively or positively?
Horribly. We'll start with trauma bonds. They
Okay.
horribly ruin your health. They ruin it. They literally ruin it. Like they ruin your fucking health. If you are in a toxic relationship, it's not just impacting your mental health. Like with narcissistic abuse, or if you're in a toxic relationship, there's physiological changes that happen to your brain. Your brain literally changes. Your amygdala increases in size. Your amygdala is your fear and stress center of your brain, where fear and anxiety come from. And your hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, that gets shrunken down. So a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse or people who are in trauma bonded relationships, a lot of them have symptoms of ADHD. And that's
Mm,
something that a lot of people don't talk about. So that's even one part of your brain that gets impacted by chronic stress in these dynamics. So that's something that with your mental health. So physical health, what ends up happening is because our fight or flight nervous system response is always on, we're always in fight or flight. What ends up happening is our body cannot go into rest and digest. When you cannot go into rest and digest, when you're stressed, when you're eating, you literally cannot absorb the food. Your body will not make the digestive enzymes responsible for breaking down the food. When you're in that fight or flight nervous system state, your digestion capabilities completely turn off. So a lot of clients will also come to me saying they have IBS, they have gut issues, they have constipation, maybe IBD, all these different components. It's all rooted back to you are stuck in fight or flight and your body cannot go back to homeostasis. And so cystic acne, that was something with me. Acne, what are some other like chronic pain? A lot of people say they have fibromyalgia, other things, immunity, like they're sick all the time, they can't recover like they used to. So these are all like when you're in that fight or flight state as well, your immunity turns off. Think about when um your a tiger comes to you. Your body is not thinking, can I eat this food in front of me if a tiger's coming towards you? Absolutely not. Your nervous system is designed and wired for you to survive, not to thrive.
right.
So that's really how your physical health and your brain and everything can be impacted by the relationships that you choose. And your nervous system, like, is always taking in cues, and it's literally becomes you co-regulate with
Mm,
people around you. So your nervous system is only going to be as healthy and regulated as the five people you are closest to.
yes.
I'm like, okay, I kind of ate with that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
So now let's flip it and you're in a healthy relationship. How is that going to affect our bodies?
It's going to affect it in such a better way. We feel safe. We feel secure. There's not these high highs, low lows. You're able to actually eat, sleep. Yeah, and that's another thing. People who are in toxic relationships, they can't sleep. They're struggling with insomnia. And so when you're in a healthy relationship, you're able to sleep better, eat better. You're able to actually have the growth capabilities to actually thrive. Your financials will become better. Everything will begin to be healthier. It's the direct opposite. So when you're in a fight or flight state and you're in this toxic relationship, all your body is doing is trying to survive this now moment versus
Mm,
in when you're in a healthy relationship, you're able to think of the future, feel better. Your health will naturally improve. You're going to feel like your needs matter. You're going to feel loved. You're going to feel connected because a connection is a human need. We need to connect. We are wired to connect. And so people who are, have been growing up in these type of toxic relationships, they learn that their needs don't matter. And so now they're attracted to these emotionally unavailable toxic people because they're just repatterning their nervous system is wired for that because they're trying to get connection somewhere.
This is so huge because I the reason I got into this work is that I spent so much of my life just trying to shrink my body in any way, shape, and form, all in the name of health. And so many people are doing that still, and it's not necessarily all their fault. It's like what society and diet culture shit is like programming your brain to think that the smaller I am, the healthier I'll be. And after I broke from doing all that for too long, and I started to actually look into what makes us a healthy human being
Mhm.
and seeing all the different things, it's just mind blowing. There's no other word for me to, yeah. And just to think that I spent so much fucking time focusing on that stupid number on the scale and obsessing over it when that had nothing to do with me being healthy. Okay, I'm off
Absolutely.
my box.
No, no. There you go. Mic drop. Yes,
Yeah.
Katie. Yes. Here's the thing with that. It's like, yes, absolutely. It's like diet culture. These people thrive off of that. They want you to feel like you're less than. They
Mm-hmm.
want you to be insecure because they profit off of you buying their products, buying their detox teas, buying these appetite suppressants so that you can shrink your body in the name of health. But really, yeah, that's another thing, how it can impact your health. Toxic relationships or you're chronically stressed, it's like when we are actually trying to shrink our body, it's usually a form of a combination of two things. We don't feel good enough within
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So we feel we have to do something outside of ourselves. So that means shrinking our body, looking a certain way. And it's because internally we're trying to feel lovable when we didn't intrinsically learn that from our parents because they had their own stuff going on and they weren't securely attached themselves and they didn't love themselves enough.
Yeah.
And then two, having this is such an unpopular opinion, but having an eating disorder or shrinking your body in the name of health, making sure that we're eating a certain way, all of that is a means for control. We're trying to control. We're trying to control. Yes, we're trying to control. And it's actually distraction from our deeper feelings that we're trying to protect ourselves from. And these
Mm-hmm.
are literally ways that our nervous system is trying to survive. It's a protector part. These aren't things to get rid of. It's to actually meet these deeper layers, these deeper needs that this eating disorder is helping us fit.
Yeah.
It's helping us meet.
Yeah. And the the protection part, like, you hear all the time that people will go on a diet, lose a bunch of weight, and then they gain all and more back. It's because their body is saying, okay, it's time to eat because I don't know when you're going to eat again next. And like the body doesn't know the difference between a diet and a famine.
Correct.
All it knows is you're not feeding me, and so therefore we're going to stock up.
Hmm.
And 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 then the shitty part is we think it's something that we're doing wrong
Hmm.
and we blame ourselves and not the stupid diet that we just went on.
Totally. Absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
that internalized self-hatred. Where does that come from? Our
Mm-hmm.
emotionally unavailable parents who couldn't meet our needs. So now we have to try and meet our needs through external circumstances, dieting, getting that emotionally unavailable person to love us,
Mm-hmm.
getting that situationship, getting that ex back, right? So
Yeah.
all of these things that won't ever actually fulfill you, but you know that they're just meeting an underlying need for love and acceptance.
Mm-hmm. So what would you tell somebody Like, for example, me 5 years ago, trying to find all this stuff out about myself. What would you say, like, what would you think comes first? Relationships? Not that there has to be a first, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how to word. Like, where would you send somebody first? What would you have somebody look at inside of themselves first? There we go.
Fabulous
There we
question.
go.
Yes, it's identifying how disconnected are you from your body? How disconnected are you from your body? Because when we're very anxious, we are very up here. We are not in here in our body. So, what I first have clients do is literally we map out how often are you triggered? How often are you in that fight, flight, freeze, fawn state? Meaning fight, anger, flight, anxiety, OCD-like symptoms, freeze, which is depression or shutdown, and then fawn, which is codependency and people pleasing. How often are you in these states? How often are you in regulation? Meaning calm, feeling connected, feeling grateful, and really looking at that through a non-judgmental lens, and then mapping out tools and customized skill sets and practices to help them shift out of that state. So that's number one, so that they have the tools to get out of those states. Number two, connecting them to their bodies. When we are chronically anxious, it can feel very scary to be in our body. So we go into our head. That's where overthinking, ruminating, anxiety is really stemming from. It's this disconnection from our body, disconnection from our needs. So I first have them connect to their body using somatic therapy, somatic healing. We're doing these somatic exercises to get them connected to their body. And then next is really unlearning all the ways that you tell yourself that you're not good enough. We map out protector parts that they have, right? In your case, meaning your nervous system felt safest to shrink your body in quote unquote the name of health. So if that's their biggest protector part, then we work on that and we go, what is this underlying need? We really dialogue with your unconscious mind. We dialogue with these protector parts. What is this doing for you? What is the role, function, purpose, and intention for me shrinking my body in the name of health? What is the role, function, purpose, and intention of me overthinking? Almost always it's to keep me alive, to keep me safe, to keep me protected because I don't feel protected and safe. I don't know how to meet those needs on my own. So I do it through this way. And so this protector part will tell us, oh, I just need acceptance. What is this? What is your adult self need from me so that I can no longer show up in this way for you? I need unconditional love. I need you to accept that I make mistakes. I need you to love me unconditionally. I need you to accept me exactly as I am. I need you to believe that I'm worthy and deserving no matter what happens with my finances. And so it's then doing that. And then after we're mapping out your protector parts, then we're going even deeper. Where is the origin of these wounds? When did you start to believe you weren't good enough? When did you first start to believe that people always leave? We're unlearning these fears of abandonment, trust issues, betrayal wounds. And we do this through somatic therapy. When you heal that underlying wound, your body will scream at you if an emotionally unavailable person comes near you. You will not have the same attraction towards them. You won't have chemistry for them. You will instantly feel the ick. You will feel repulsed by these people. Your body won't even let you go near that. And even for example, I'm currently single in the moment, and I went on a date a few weeks ago, and I went on this date. I instantly felt repulsed by this guy. I just, something in my body was wanting to pull away. Something in my body, like he even reached for my hand at one point, and inside my body, like my skin felt like it was crawling. I felt like I wanted to jump out of my skin. And then he was saying certain things that was definitely warranting this response. Like it confirmed my intuition. It confirmed my body. And so something that you really need to do is what I would tell someone is get connected to your body. Because when you are not connected to your body, you don't know what your needs are. You don't know if this person is healthy or not because you're already so dysregulated. Them adding to your dysregulation, you'll blame yourself. And so we need to have a set point. So those are some things. And then as well, we're rewiring the nervous system, utilizing nervous system regulation practices, like I talked about earlier, and vagus nerve exercises. So, adding a layer deeper with that, when you've experienced narcissistic abuse, you've experienced toxic relationships, you've undergone a lot of trauma or chronic stress, your vagus nerve, which is a nerve that connects from your brainstem all the way to
Mhm.
the bottom of your spinal cord, it helps ultimately, and it controls whether or not you are in a fight or flight state. So when you've experienced toxic relationships, trauma, chronic stress, your vagus nerve does not function properly anymore. So what you want to do is you want to stimulate this nerve through breath work, humming, singing, gargling, even cold showers, meditation. All of these things stimulate the vagus nerve. So when you do that, the vagus nerve won't be firing all the time. You won't constantly feel like you're in that fight or flight. Your new baseline will be regulation. You'll feel trusting, capable, like you can do hard things. So I know that was a lot, but that was kind of just like how I explained what to do if you're trying to change your nervous system, if you're trying to change who you're attracted to. That's really, I guess, where I would start is getting connected to yourself because your relationships are a reflection of how you treat yourself.
Mm.
So that emotionally
Oh.
unavailable person, she ate with that. That emotionally unavailable person, they're reflecting back to you your emotional unavailability within yourself.
Moment of silence. Hold on. Oh.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the mind body connection is so huge. And then, at least for me, like the deep work and figuring out where all these things came from
Mm-hmm.
was like changed everything. Like I'm still me, but I'm how would I put it? I'm still me, but I'm completely different than I was a year ago because I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing the deep work for, well, over a year now. And it's just like, okay, that's why I can't stick to a diet. It's so much deeper, listeners. It's so much more than just, oh my gosh, is this carbohydrate going to make me fat? It's
Yes.
deep.
It exactly. And going a bit deeper there, it's like, okay, if say this carb makes you fat, then what would that make you believe about yourself?
Exactly.
And that's what you need to work on. What is that triggering within you if you feel you gain weight? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's reflecting back the conditional love you have for yourself because that was modeled to you that
Yep.
you weren't unconditionally lovable exactly as who you are. And we are literally souls and a human experience. We're a spiritual being having a human experience. And literally I was just thinking about this yesterday. So I'm glad you brought this up. I was at the gym. I've been off going to the
A
gym.
gym? Oh,
Yeah,
gym. I
like
thought you said I was at a jam. I'm like, ooh, I want to go to a
like a
jam.
jam. Shoot, let's go. But yeah, so I was at the gym. I was working out, and I haven't worked out for a few weeks because my back was flaring up from a snow tubing accident months ago. Got that fixed. We're all good to go. So I went to the gym, and old parts of myself, like body image stuff, really started to come back. And it's not about the body image stuff. It was, what is this making me believe about myself? And I literally interrupted a lot of these old beliefs. And I literally ultimately kind of went into exposure therapy for myself. I felt like a part of me, oh, what if I am gaining weight? So literally what I did was I took off my shirt and I was in a sports bra and leggings. And it's like, I didn't die. No one cares about your body, truly. Someone who's healthy and secure isn't going to care about your body, other than do you love yourself enough that you're taking care
Yeah.
of your body in the right ways that nourish you, right? And so It's not about the body. In all my years of coaching, not one person has ever said, this person is big and this bothers me, or this person is too thin and this bothers me. Never, ever in a million years has someone said that. And I've gone to a few funerals as well this year of people close to me who passed away. Not once have any of us ever said, I love this person because she was thin, or I love this person because she was curvy. Never once. It was, this person made me laugh. This person was the life of the party. This person had me feeling so loved even on my worst days. That's what people care about. They don't
Yeah.
care about your body. It's how can I
Yeah.
love myself regardless of my body? Can I love myself regardless of my relationship status? Can I love myself regardless of what happens in my relationship? That's the true self-love. And it's not
Yeah.
about I have to work hard to get there. It's about healing the wounds and blocks that are stopping you from loving yourself unconditionally. Because every single one of us has been born secure and worthy, just as we are.
Yeah. I want to expand your thought too on nobody cares about our bodies. The ones that do care about your bodies, or at least make it verbal, actually don't care about your body. They care about their body in comparison to yours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they have low self-esteem for doing that.
Yeah.
People who love themselves and are healthy and secure within themselves will never, ever comment negatively about your body, ever.
Yeah.
Because they care about you, your soul, and who embodies that body.
I love that.
Thank you.
So I think for listeners, they've heard me say this before, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Um, Starting, I don't know if I want to use self-care, self-healing, all of the above, from a place of love rather than a place of hate. Meaning, I hate my body and therefore I'm going to go start working out. Or I hate that I do this and therefore I'm going to go fix it. What are your thoughts on the difference between starting a health adventure from a place of love versus hate?
Great, fabulous question. Because we cannot change ourselves through shame. We can only change ourselves through love. If shame worked, we would have been fit. We would have had all the things we wanted by now if shame worked. That's
Yeah.
why addicts are a thing. That's why addictions are present because we cannot change through shame. We can only change through love. The thing that keeps what I hear constantly is people who are like saying, let's just say people who are consistent in the gym, they always tell me how they are able to stay consistent, not because they want an aesthetic with their body, not like for true reasons. It's because they want to make their brain better. They want to feel better mentally. That's
Mm-hmm.
what keeps them consistent. They want to feel their best. They want to feel like they're aging gracefully. Even at 80, they can still pick up their grandson, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's really the key. And a lot of people come to me because they're like, I want to fix this behavior. And yes, while that's valid to want to fix these things, but these behaviors are just symptoms of your conditional love for yourself.
Yeah. I had a friend post something yesterday. Her name's Michelle Moore. And she said, I'm not going to put it in quotes because I might mess it up like perfectly, but it said, if you are starting a personal development journey in order to fix what's wrong with you, that's perfectionism.
Correct.
And I was
Correct.
like, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah. So,
Correct. It's sneaky. Perfectionism
mhm.
can go right into your healing journey. A lot of clients of mine will be like asking me questions like, is this normal? Is this not normal? Am I healing perfectly? It's like, bruh, the body is designed to heal. Your body will bring things up that it feels is necessary. It's not linear, just like I'm sure it was with you in unraveling diet culture and stopping yourself from trying to shrink your body in the name of health. These are all things that need to be unlearned. But just like with addiction, there's going to be relapses. There's going to be days that aren't great. And that's just like with a baby. A baby's not going to be happy 24/7, nor should you expect yourself to be.
Yeah. That piece right there. Well, I feel like I could talk to you all day. Um, but I do have one more question for you. And that is, if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
Mm. I know people ask me this frequently, but I really want to tune in and be like, what would be one piece of advice? I would say don't get mad at the external reality. They're just a reflection of you.
Short and sweet.
When you repair that connection you have with yourself, that's when the connection to the outside world will be much easier and loving towards you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Beautiful beasts. Valerie Rubin signing off. Until next time.